Shalom Chaverim from Zion, from Mount Meron. I have today one of the most exceptional programs I believe that I've ever done in the history. And if you know, I've been all over the world. I share with you from over 30 different countries. But today I have with me Mr. No, sorry. Mr. Eldad Kenan, he is, I've been friending him. It's more than just acquaintance. He is not just academics, he is an expert in the following areas. In early Jewish Christian understanding and history, tombs and burials. He's a master's degree in Jewish history. He studied many of our early Jewish Christian resources purely based on Judaism, and he approaching it in a purely academic way. And today we are going not just to learn about history, we are going to touch history.
And to get in history.
So before we start, just a few words. We are on Mount Meron.
Yes.
Give us the flavor, the feel. Why is this place is important for Jewish people? What is Mount Meron? Kind of just a little 50,000 level.
Okay. When we talk about Mount Meron objectively, up there, there are the remains of an ancient synagogue. It was destroyed in 363 CE by earthquake.
How did it was destroyed? The earthquake?
Earthquake, yes.
Okay.
At the same time,
Continue, we listen.
this tomb here was, part of this tomb was destroyed as well.
Okay.
As you can see, the rock. Mount Meron and the holy tomb of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is the second most holy place in Israel after the Kotel, the Wailing Wall.
Unbelievable. They had, just in Lag Bomer, you mentioned about 300,000 people were coming.
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And what is so special? Maybe people did not know even we were Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So you can give just a one sentence.
I believe that Shimon Bar Yochai was very deep in, I don't know how to tell it. And
well, he went into a cave. We know that.
no, not only that. He was a mystic.
He's a mystic. Some attributed the authorship
a
of
mystic
and
a great rabbi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He was, in modern terms, we can name him extremer.
Extremer.
Yes, but his extreme approach was in favor of the people of Israel and in believing in God. There even a story about him that he got someone back to life.
Yes. It's mentioned. In even
Babylonian.
Some said that he was in the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. In the.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I couldn't see it.
Now this is a mountain, yes, and people need to understand. Let's take us back in town from him.
Okay.
This is a Jewish, 100% Jewish village. What would we call this?
It was a Jewish village or town.
Would you have any estimation? I know I don't want to put you on the spot. How many Jewish people lived in this area?
When I look at the row of tombs here,
Yeah.
and the size of the synagogue, first I know it was quite a strong Jewish community that could afford for such a synagogue.
Okay. Quite a strong Jewish community.
Yeah, we know the rich man house down there. So we talk about a community of about 300, 400 families.
300, 400, so maybe even a few thousand people live there.
Yeah, it's a small town.
It's a small town. We are, what would you say, about 20 kilometers from the Sea of Galilee?
No, more.
More than
it's
that.
about 35, 40 kilometers.
40 kilometers.
It's a day and a half walk.
Okay, so it's quite a long way.
Okay.
And here they have there's a single synagogue. We find a ruins here of
only a synagogue.
And that's important to mention the term single synagogue as you're going to learn before. Now, I want to talk to you for a second about your background. You have been researching this topic of early, and when we use the term early Christians, I want to make a proclamation about it. We're really talking about Messianic Jews. This term.
Yes.
Okay, we use the term early Christians, but you're really Messianic Jews. One of the things that you kept on telling me when we studied and we look at it, you said, wait a second, no. Those early Christians were Jewish. Don't even call them Messianic Jews, they were Jewish.
Just Jewish, yeah.
They're just Jewish. So do you believe, before you even look at things, believe based on evidence, you are a scientist, you're scientific, do you believe that those early first century
Jesus followers were nothing but Jews.
Okay, you are saying, I want you to listen to this man. They were nothing but Jews. When you say nothing but Jews, did they adhere to the Masoret and to the Halakha that has been already forming during this time?
I guess so, yes.
Okay, this is very, very significant.
With some modifications, as we will see in.
With some modification, very, very important. And okay, so we are here. There's a system of couple of caves here.
Yeah.
Very, very important for us to understand. Talk to us for a minute as we're about to enter in this cave that we look behind us, and maybe we can point this is what we call a burial.
Tomb.
A burial tomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Jewish burial tomb.
Okay, a Jewish burial tomb. We're going to walk in now to the burial tomb, and you're going to teach us a little bit, because the way Jews bury today and the way they bury 2,000 years ago, quite different. They're
but following the same principle.
Same principle, but obviously structure and so forth is different. So here we have a tomb, and the thesis of this entire discussion that this is a Jewish tomb. Let's start there, okay? Yeah. So let us walk together.
Just a minute, before we go.
Okay.
Jewish tombs back then and Jewish graves these days meant to confine corpse defilement as closer as we can do it.
Please explain this to our viewers.
Yeah. Corpse defilement is the most severe defilement in Judaism. It's the father of fathers of defilement. Even if a Jew is burying another Jew, the Jew who buried the other Jew must go to a mikveh to purify after a burial.
And you often say today, mother, when you go to a synagogue, you have to wash your hands.
And if the Jew who buried the other Jew touches another Jew, then the other Jew has to go to the mikveh.
Exactly.
The corpse defilement is so
it's a very
heavy.
strict in Jewish law, in Jewish rules, ruling, and we see that. And the idea even that you know, look, today we have cemetery, but the tombs represent a family, right? It was a family. Can you explain?
It's family business.
It's
it's family business.
So you had generations.
Yes. And it's not as cheap. Having a tomb means you must have a plot of ground, and you must have the means to pay the builders.
Real estate is expensive.
And you must have the means to pay the builders.
Okay.
It was a hard job.
So
people didn't have machines back then.
Are you telling me, I want to get it straight because it's such a critical point. This is 363.
It was destroyed.
So do you think between, this is just so I said, this is a first century.
From mid-first century.
Mid-first century structure. Are you understanding what we're telling you? This is a mid-first century structure. So I want to make sure I get this right. From mid-first century to 300, do you believe that this was continuously used?
Yeah. So why not?
Oh my
people live there. If people live, they also die.
So the idea here that this is not just a tomb of a person, I want you to get it straight. That means that generations have been buried here, a generation, in a Jewish way. Yeah. But there's a big shock, big surprise. We're not going to talk about it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, please get closer, Joseph.
Joseph, stay with us.
When we look at this inside the tomb,
continue. Just keep on walking. It's okay. Okay.
Joseph, please. Here and here, you can see the positions in which bodies were laid.
Let's walk inside, Joseph. Just very quickly. Let's start and talk about each side here.
Yeah, okay.
And please explain to us what we are looking here at. We're starting in which side are we looking at first?
Whatever you want.
Let's start at, it's because they're both used, so let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
These positions are meant to keep the bodies for the first year after burial until only bones remain.
So for 1 year.
1 year, yes. This is the Jewish outside.
Yes. Amazing that you see the outside
Yeah.
concept is already mentioned.
And after a year, when only bones remain, the owners, the relatives of the dead, took the bones and put them in here,
Show them this. Show them this.
or in a ossuary, a box, a stone box, inside here.
Okay. And that's
For
what they
good.
kept. They kept.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, how many people would you say will be able to be buried there at the time?
This is not the final burial.
Okay. No,
Well-
not a burial, to put it the same for a year period.
Well, 4, as you can see.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot. It's
Yeah.
quite a lot. So do you think this owned by a family?
Yeah, of course, for many generations.
It is a family. And then they
Yeah.
took those bones
Put them here.
and they put them down here.
To have a place ready for the next dead.
Ah.
One
Now-
of these.
Now, I must ask you, there's something kind of different about it. We know this is a Jewish burial spot, okay?
Yeah.
But I must ask you a question. I notice here that the structure is have arches to it. Is
Just
that
a-
significant?
But, by the way, before we continue, and
Yes.
I will answer, this structure is not the classic Second Temple Jewish tomb.
Okay. Please
Because-
explain this to us.
Yes, of course. And I will show you pictures. Because the classic Jewish tomb of the time had niches hewn in the rock
Okay.
to confine the defilement.
So you say it was kind of shut down.
This is, you didn't have this at all.
So there was
You
no
just have-
opening. There was no.
No, the opening was at the level of the floor. It's about
That-
2 feet
but
high.
everything is closed.
Yeah, there was solid rock.
Okay.
And if this was a Jewish classic tomb, we had 2 niches here at the level floor, this high and like this, wide like this, and it was cut in the rock instead of this.
But they still took it and put it in there a year later.
When you have a tomb with a place which is specified for bones, like this, this is a Jewish tomb, even with the arch.
So let's do an organization. So this is a Jewish tomb,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
We know
but
that-
with a modification.
Before we get to modification, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we establish a few facts. Number one, this is a Jewish tomb.
No doubt.
Number two, this has been a Jewish village
No
that
doubt.
had been active from Yeshua's time all the way to
And even before.
and even before to 363 when we had the
Yeah.
earthquake.
And the
Okay.
place was abandoned.
Okay. Number three, we also know that it's been used as a plot by as a generation. The reason they use it like this
Of a single family.
of a single family.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me then now. There is modification.
Yes, the arch. As you can see,
Okay.
if it was a niche like this here, it's quite easy to block it
Okay.
and to confine the defilement in. But when you have such an open structure, you cannot confine the defilement in. You cannot close it.
Okay.
So what Jews would let the defilement go such free out?
It seems in a way against Jewish law. It seems in a way.
Yes, because it doesn't confine the defilement, of course.
Okay. Okay. Yet the structure is Jewish.
Yes,
And it's adhered to Jewish law. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It could, because it has this, it's a kind of Jewish, but
And people need to understand. Wait a second. I want to ask you. This is an important question. So please
yeah,
answer it very, very clearly. It's clear that this structure, Eldad, is
Jewish but not classic.
yeah, Jewish, but it's still the structure. I'm talking about this, and it's adhered to
The structure is dictated by the demands of Jewish religion.
Jewish law. Even can I
Jewish-
say oral,
Jewish law.
oral law? Can I use the term
Yes, Jewish religious oral law.
So let's make sure I understand. Although, of course, the Mishnah was not sealed yet, oral Mesorah all minhagim,
Was
all
valid in the Second Temple time.
was already valid.
Yeah.
People need to understand
doubt.
it. This is not biblical, it's rabbinic. This,
Yes.
can I use the term? This is rabbinic structure.
Sort of, yes.
Okay, very, very important. So now we are asking the very important question.
What's the modification?
What's the modification?
Okay.
Why?
Well, the arch, as we said, is a modification. But now...
We're talking about mid-first century, yes?
Yes, yes. Now we have to understand that in every religion, religious law dictates the structure of burials. In every religion.
Mm.
The classic Jewish tomb with the niches in the rock this structure was dictated by Jewish law and religion.
Mm.
So, to have this arch, this modification, there must have been a major modification.
Something major had to.
Yes, a major religious modification.
Modification, but when you say modification, I don't like the word modification.
Okay, change.
Chidush. There is some
Renovation.
Renovation. I like the word chidush here because
No problem.
because it's still Jewish. It's still in a Jewish framework.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm following Professor Amos Klona now.
Okay. What did he say?
He said that the arches in burial structure were introduced in Jewish burials in Jerusalem in mid-1st century CE.
What caused the introduction?
So, what religious renovation took place in Jerusalem in mid-1st century CE? We know of only one.
Only one. I want to take a guess. Yeshua.
Or the son of Miriam,
Okay. Yeshua.
the brother of Jacob.
Yes. This are you telling me what I think you're telling me here?
I'm telling you what
Be
I
very
think.
clear. Yeah,
What
but
I
very,
think,
very,
and
very
I'm very clear. The only religious renovation in mid-1st century Judaism was Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
That's all.
I'm getting chills right now.
Okay,
I
get
am-
out, it's hot outside.
I am getting chills not because it's cooler in the cave.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting, I want to make sure I get it straight. Are you suggesting that this Jewish
Tomb.
burial tomb is by, I use the word
Affected.
affected?
Yeah.
Or it's more than affected.
According to
Actually, by Messianic Jewish
Jews.
followers
And
of
why?
Yeshua?
And yes, and why?
Why?
Because the Jews, the Messianic Jews, the Christian Jews, the earliest Christian Jews, couldn't stand the idea that Jesus is a decaying body in a tomb like everybody else.
Oh,
They couldn't stand the idea that their master, their Messiah, the purest man on earth, is decaying like every other human body in a tomb.
so they make a chidush.
So they had two choices. One was to leave their faith, and the other was to abandon corpse defilement. And by the way, there is no corpse defilement in Christianity until today. You have cemeteries behind churches,
Yes.
and you don't have any cemetery behind synagogue.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But they wanted to, if I can put it in my own slant, they wanted to remain 100% Jewish while at the same time honor Yeshua.
Yeah.
Is it basically what we're looking at?
Yeah.
It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. So they basically kept it open to symbolize.
No, just to symbolize
Yeah.
their connection to Jesus and the fact that they abandoned the corpse defilement concept.
So would you say, I guess this is an important question, because there are, in Messianic Judaism today, we have many people say, the followers of Yeshua went against Jewish halakha. Is that the case that they went against halakha? Not really.
No, they kind of went against the halakha because the open structure is not according to halakha.
But then I would ask you a question: if they went against halakha, what kind of a shockwave this
I will
statement?
tell you something. going against the halakha is a sin, right?
Yes.
Okay. But if you believe Jesus, you believe that he will or already did wipe out your sins, right?
No.
So this is not a sin.
Ah. Okay.
I know this is kind of being Jewish.
Yes.
Smarter than well.
Yes.
But I believe that these people really took the forgiving power of Jesus. They took it very seriously.
But here is where I have problem. I tell you a little bit with what you. I get what you're saying, but here's the question, I guess. How could they live in a Jewish village if they go against Jewish halakha? That's where I'm having a problem with this.
A tomb is a private family business.
No.
Strangers don't get in.
But what do the neighbors doesn't know it's Jewish? They're Israelis. They know what's going on with the neighbor yard.
No Jew enters the tomb of the other Jew.
No, but they know what. Come on.
Well, we learn that the rabbinic Jews or the other Jews were just tolerant enough to the Messianic Jews.
Which is huge. It's huge.
But in my eyes, it's simple.
It's shocking.
Okay.
So you're telling me that basically, can we make the statement, they live there?
Yeah.
They worship in the same synagogue?
No doubt.
So the notion, I always been told...
The rabbis had problems with Messianic Jews, not the lay people.
Okay, but they were worshiping the same synagogue. There's only one synagogue in town here.
Yeah.
You know what? So that's meant to me that they had to live a life, a Jewish life, as a Messianic Jews, here, Jewish family here, that was according to the halakha. They had to be. If even with this kind of a chidush, the rest of their life were adhering to Jewish life. Is it fair to us to say that?
You know the story of Todos of Rome, the Jew?
No. Tell us.
Who had his Passover lamb in a different way. And the rabbis from Israel sent him a letter and sent him, we would excommunicate you. And the Talmud asked, why didn't they? Because he was sending them money. So they didn't excommunicate him.
Because send the money?
Well, if these Messianic Jews, yes, this is in the Talmud. Or in the Mishnah. Todos of Rome.
Yes.
Read the story. So if these people took upon themselves some of the burden of building the synagogue, you cannot excommunicate them.
But this is huge. You tell me they were outstanding citizens of the Jewish community.
Yes, they were part of the community, no doubt.
So to me, the issue of this chidush was not huge enough to excommunicate them.
No. This chidush, this renovation was not enough that the lay Jews would kick them out.
How did we get as far as we get today from these early Messianic Jews?
Politics and power struggles. That's all.
So we know, listen, if they're in this village, and they had an Iruv in this village, there is no way that they were segregated out of the
No!
Jewish. No way!
No.
Shocking. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting or standing in a Jewish burial, perfect Jewish alignment with a chidush of the arch that come. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? That came because the introduction, the introduction of Yeshua to the world and the practice of Messianic Judaism by the early Jewish believers. It is clear as glass for me what's happening. Yes, the fact that they had this, Joseph showed them, this down here, proved to me that they adhere to the religious authority.
Yeah.
Until it came to the issue of, until it came to the issue of Yeshua. That's where they kind of draw a red line and they said, we will adhere to everything in Jewish rabbinical law, but when it's come to our Lord and Savior...
The rabbis said so, not the lay Jews.
What do you mean when you say?
I'm saying that the Jewish leadership, the rabbis, were very strongly against Jesus and his believers and his teaching.
They were against?
Yeah, of course. The rabbis, yes, most of them. But the lay Jews were not.
enough, I don't know how strongly they're against it, because they're here.
Yeah.
If I go to Chabad village, and I say, I want to live in Chabad village,
They will kick you out.
They will kick me out.
Of course.
But it was not as strong as it is today. That's my point.
It was not as stronger at all.
Because they were part
Of the community.
Part
Yeah.
of the idea of having a Messianic synagogues that are dedicated from the Messianics, I think we have to put this idea to rest. They were in the regular shuls. They were in the regular synagogues, praying among the Jewish people.
Yeah. And I will prove it today.
You will prove it.
Of course.
Okay.
I have
So, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is all nice and great, what you're sharing with us. But are you ready to show to us now that this is truly a Messianic Jewish?
Yes. I will show you the evidence and you will touch the evidence.
Okay. Are we
As
ready?
we said, this is a sort of Jewish tomb.
I wish I could give you the numbers, but I'm telling you so right now. We are bringing
I
into
give you the honor to expose.
No, the honor you. You are the teacher. I am the Talmid here.
Okay.
And I'm learning here, and I want my students to learn it. But I'm telling you something. If you get to Israel, and you're not coming here with Elad to
Eldad.
Eldad. Not enough water, not enough sleep. Eldad Canaan. If you're not coming here to Israel with him, to this shiur, and to touch this, you are missing something that will connect you. Because I think there's something here, before you show us the evidence, Eldad, I think there's something significant. Today, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
I know not as a faith.
It's not too personal. It's
No,
okay.
it's personal to me, but today we have I would like your opinion on this. Today in the Messianic Jewish movement, we have two camps. We have one camp that want to continue to live their life as Jews, adhere to Jewish tradition to the
Okay.
best of our ability, while believing in Yeshua is the Mashiach. And there are some, which is, I must say, it's the majority of our Messianic Jews, who want nothing to do with Jewish Masorah, with Judaism, with rabbinical Judaism. And what I'm seeing from you here, hey, this is not such a cut and dry thing, you know.
No.
The follower of Yeshua were against rabbinical.
No!
This is important. Please explain it to the people, because you are coming to it as an Israeli Tzabar speaking this.
I cannot say that I'm not aware of the attitude to Messianic Jews today in the world and in Israel.
Yes.
I know what happens. I just don't understand it, because if we look at ancient sources of the time when Jews and Messianic Jews shared the same communities and even synagogues, I just don't understand why it could take place back then and not now.
What would you say to Messianic Jews, Messianic Israelis even, who live here and they say, well, Yeshua reject all Jewish halacha?
No, it's not true.
It's not true.
No,
Flat
no,
out
no.
you can say it is not true.
It's not true. That's all.
It is not true.
No.
He adhere to some of the Mesorot and Midagim and Takanot of our people. We know that.
I think that we can identify Jesus as a very good, deeply rooted in Orthodox Jew.
Which is Pharisaic Judaism.
Yes.
Please, you hear what he's saying now. Judaism was aligned with Pharisaic Judaism in many regards, and in many regards I say much more like the house of Shammai than the house of Hillel. In many, many regards I would say that. He's a little bit of Hillel, a little bit of Shammai. You have a
Yes, he
blending.
was very strict about his way in Judaism.
He's Ashkafa in Judaism.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is...
He didn't have any compromises.
No. So look, I believe this is the discovery, and I know some people came here. I don't know how many Messianic Jews came here, and this is my hope today. We take a time to reflect upon what we are looking here at. This means that there was no problem being in the synagogue.
No.
And believing Yeshua is the Mashiach. Think about the implication of what you're telling us today. That the faith in Yeshua did not contradict Judaism.
No, of course not.
Unbelievable. How did we get
But
so
it's so
far?
simple. Just read the sources.
Okay.
I will show you the sources
Okay,
today.
now I would like, Eldad to show us
The evidence.
the evidence. Are you ready? We saved it for last. Joseph, please come closer. Eldad will give us an explanation here. בטח.
Well, as I said, this is a Jewish tomb with place for bodies and place for bones, but it has a very clear evidence of being Messianic on the wall.
There's a clear message.
Yeah, and here it is.
Joseph, come closer.
This large fish, this is the head of the fish, the gills of the fish. It has, get closer,
Joseph, get closer.
and it has scales. It has a fin here and another fin here, and some Jews destroy it. Unfortunately,
How long ago was it destroyed?
I know this place, I know this tomb from 20 years, and the break is about 6 or 7 years old.
Do you think the people, not to get controversial by hypothesis, but do you believe that the people who broke this knew why they are breaking this?
No,
Do you know? Do you think they knew what they were breaking?
I know they were breaking a form, and Jews are not allowed to have, לא תעשה לך פסל ותמונה.
But they're come. But I also see nerot neshama. I see the candles. That's why I don't understand the contradiction. Why would people come and pray here, and they would break it? And if it's a tattoo,
They are not Messianic.
That's why I'm saying. Why would if they would see? That's why I'm asking.
They are
What's the
trying to break the form, the pesel.
Okay.
Thou shalt not have a picture or
But
a
no
statue.
Jews came here. I'm talking like Orthodox Jews and ask this question: why there is a fish?
If they see the fish and they want to break it, that's all.
But did they know this is a Jew
No,
burial too?
no.
Oh.
And by the way, this single fish is not a reminder of the miracle down there near the Sea of the Galilee with the
It's
two fish
not
and
two
5
fish.
loaves.
This is
no,
different. Okay.
This is different. The fish is a reminder or a symbolize. The fish is symbolizing the sign of Jonah, as it said that.
Yes.
Yes.
They ask to see a sign.
And Jesus said, this generation will not have any sign but the sign of Jonah, for as Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights, so will the Son of Man will be in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights and come back to life. The fish is a symbol of the resurrection. And it's in the Gospels. You have it in the Gospels.
Amazing. So there is no question that this is
A Messianic Jews.
Jewish.
I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. First, because it's in the Gospels, and second, Jews are not according to Jewish law, Jews are not allowed to apply such art. That's all. It's figurative art, and Jews are not allowed to. לא תעשה לך פסל ותמונה.
Yeah.
So this is not classic Jewish.
It is
But
not classic Jewish.
But it's Jewish.
But it is Jewish.
Yeah.
So there's a chidush.
With the fish. You cannot make a gefilte fish with this.
You cannot make a filter
No.
fish with this.
You make gefilte stone with this.
This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
I had a professor from Princeton who sat here.
Yes.
3 years I told him about this fish.
Yes.
Then he came to Israel. He was sitting right here,
Yes.
looking at the fish
No.
with his jaw dropped. His wife was out after 30 minutes. She said, please come out. He said, no, I will never get out of here. I want to see this. I want to touch it. I want to pet it. And he did. And Eric Stackelbeck of TBN was here. And he was amazed. He was petting the fish.
How many Messianic Jews know about this spot?
Well,
Not enough.
all of those who watch us now.
I pray that this broadcast will go to thousands and
Some Christians know this.
millions and millions. Yeah, it's not
I-
enough. This is a hidden gem. This place.
I had some Christian tourists here.
Very few.
They were amazed. They were
Yeah.
excited.
Only the people who really know you would know to come here, because honestly, I know a lot of things in Israel. I've never heard about this. That's why my
course.
jaw nearly drops. So let's think about this for a second.
We have more
That makes
fish.
sense, though. You see, they put the fish, sign of the resurrection, underneath where they put the final burial.
Of course, in a burial context.
Oh my God!
It's a match.
So the resurrection, they also believe it. You know what it's also say? This is a huge discovery. I did not think about this.
What?
The Sadducees did not believe in Tchiyat HaMetim. They did not believe
Which
in
means
the,
Jesus was not a Sadducee.
Right. But that says to me something very important. The Prushim did believe in Tchiyat HaMetim.
Of course.
That means that whoever lived here was much more Pharisaic in his Ashkafa.
No doubt.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. Guys,
I'm glad I met you.
this is a big discovery for the Messianic Jewish world. We are establishing, I'm just going to recap this because we are going to release it, as they say in the Talmud, tipin, slowly,
Yeah.
slowly we will release this to you. I want you to grasp it. And I tell you, I really feel the Kedusha, just looking at his fish, like the professor said, I cannot get my eyes.
As I told you when we were out, I brought some expert here.
Could it be that he's a fisherman? I guess that's what.
No, he said that maybe this community was a community of fisher.
How can it be?
Well, the Sea of the Galilee is a day and a half walk down there.
Huh.
The Mediterranean is 2.5 days to the west.
Yes.
And there is no river, lake, nothing in this vicinity, so no fisher. Another one said, it's still a fish and not a symbol of a community, but it was Jewish. Then the Jews abandoned and Christians took over. I said, well, it's possible, but to have this on the wall, you got to live here for many years to have such structure. So, but there, in all this vicinity, miles away, we have only this synagogue up there.
That's it.
No remains of a church.
No church.
No.
So it's remain Jewish village.
Yes. As simple as that.
Unbelievable. We got to recap.
So if one wants to reject this suggestion that this is Jewish Christian or Messianic Jewish,
Yes.
one must have some good evidence against it.
Amazing. Amazing. I got to recap what we learned. Let's get a couple of points and tell me if I missed something. Eldad, I'm thanking God for you.
You're missing one thing, living in the Galilee. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Listen, I have emunah, but I wouldn't live in the tomb. But let's recap. Let's recap. Number one, this is a Jewish burial structure. Let's start this.
Yeah.
It's a Jewish burial structure. Number two, we are in a Meron village that has been a Jewish village. There is a synagogue ruin that we are past. We've seen the house of the rich man. We have seen other tombs. We know that this is 100% Jewish.
Jewish community, yes.
Yes. We also learn from what you share with us that there is some structural change that is introduced in the mid-first century to us, and this is have to do with this arch, and those arch really very strong possibility that has been introduced by the first early Messianic Jews. After Yeshua's time. There's tell me something. There are more structures like that in the land of Israel that you see?
Yes, not all of them Jewish.
Not all of them.
No.
So some are not, but this is.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's make this Jewish again is that we see that there is the chambers
For burial,
for
for bodies,
and a year later we
and
see. Okay, this is very important. Number 5 now. We also know that this type of methodology of burial is I'm using this term loosely. It's rabbinic.
it's not in the Bible.
It's not in the Bible. So whoever buried the people here was, I'm going to use this term, Yehudi Shomer Mitzvot. I don't know how else to say it. A good Jew.
A good Jew, yeah.
A good Jew, okay. A Jew who lived according to the halacha and the masoret of his time. End of story. So the notion that when Yeshua come, they say Zaygesund, and they went their own way, and Judaism went their own way, is a lie from the pit
Not
of
true.
hell.
Not true.
Even people quoted to me sometimes Matthew 23, and they say, you see, it's
Send
true.
them to study.
No, study. Okay, number 5. There's been a chidush here with these arches, and the reason the arch is open is represent the idea that the believers were thinking about Yeshua, right? being confined and closed out
And decaying.
And decaying.
They couldn't stand
They
it.
could not stand it.
No.
Now, number 6, we also discover in this tomb a beautiful fish symbol, which not to be confused with the 2 fish. This fish is the sign of Jonah. It's a symbol of resurrection,
yes.
which proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is a Messianic Jewish
Tomb. Yeah.
And it's right underneath where the bones are at.
It's above the bones. Yeah.
Above the bones, the bone, we're speaking about the resurrection of the dead, which prove to us, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the people who buried themselves, their
relatives.
descendants here, and we are talking about descendants because we're about 300 years, let's say.
At least.
300 years. So we know a few generations, there are 4 burial spots here, there are a few generations. I'm curious, though, this is very interesting. Did they ever find bones here?
No.
They would, you know.
No, it's open for many years.
It's open for many years, okay. But I'm sure there's more excavations to do here that nobody has done. I won't be surprised.
But nobody is interested.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
But I think history have a lot more for us
Yeah.
to tell. So they adhere to Pharisaic Judaism because they believe in Tchiyat HaMetim. They believe in the resurrection of the dead. Let me tell you that this has been one of the greatest
Moments of your life.
Except that Yeshua is really the Mashiach. For me personally, being raised here, never been here, being raised, born and raised here, and then as a believer coming and always looking for Yeshua in the land, I don't know of any other place. And I'm thinking about this.
I will show you more.
We will see more today, but I want to say something. This place, you don't have the glory of the Rashbi and place, but this place is just as kadosh. I want you to understand, it's just as holy and more holy even than those places, because this represents my spiritual, for me, I'm speaking for me, spiritual heritage with Messianic Jews who love the Torah, who love Yeshua, who had Ahavat Israel. They would not live if they didn't work with the community. They might have been bigger
Rome.
than the synagogues.
They would go to Rome.
They would go to Rome, but they were Israelis living in the land. So,
Jewish Israelis.
Eldad, give us a final recap statement for the first.
It's short and easy.
No?
This is a Christian Jewish and ancient Messianic tomb.
End of story. Friend, if you're loving this, support our work. I want to bring him to United States. This is my next goal, to bring him to the US to give us a series of lectures to teach you. So I need to support this. We need to get behind this quickly because this is going to change the world. I really believe some of those discoveries and numbers.
I can tell you, this tomb changed my life. It forced me to find a solution for the fish.
Amazing, unbelievable. You know, it's interesting, there was another burial, and we should say something here, another burial tomb that people painted over, they tried to...
You mean Rashbi?
The one you showed us, there was a symbol that was painted over.
Ah, yeah.
So people need to understand. I guess the last kind of conclusion, do you think when Orthodox Jews come here and they travel here and did they ever think about Yeshua when they look at that?
No.
Not at
And
all.
if they know this, the fish will not survive.
So you're saying it's even a miracle that it still stands today?
Sort of, yeah.
May His name be blessed. It's a miracle, it is. We will continue this. I hope you're having a wonderful time with us. Litro, thank you so much, Eldad.
You're welcome.